Hello everybody, this is Hi-Fi Finder. How you doing? Today I would like to make a video about the MiniDisk. The MiniDisk came out in 1992 September and it was released November of the year of sale in Japan and December in Europe, North America and other countries. The music format was based on ATRAC, audio data compression. It was a compression system similar to what was coming out at that time, which was MP3, MPEG, and a whole bunch of other compression formats. It was a format that was only made with Sony. The ATRAC format was, compression system was only used with Sony. It was copyrighted with them. This was the disc that came out with the. This is what the MiniDisk looked like. Inside there's a disc. If I can open it up. Let's see if I can open it up for you. Okay. If you can see, there's a silver part there. Well, that's the disc. So similar to the CD, it had an optical disc, but it was what they called was a magno-optical disc-based data storage system. So it was also used with data also, but primarily when it came out, it was a music format. And what was cool about this was the disc was in a case, a plastic case, similar to the cassette. So the cassette was in a plastic case which protected it, and which was really cool about cassettes was it was portable, and a lot of people had tape decks, and you could throw it around and toss it around and it wouldn't get damaged. Similar, these discs were in a case like the cassette to protect the media. So it was the next step after the compact disc. The MiniDisk was supposed to replace the CD itself because it was more compact. It was much smaller than, say, the larger disc of a CD, and it was not as fragile. So you could toss it around, and it was much more portable without getting damaged. So the thing about this format which was interesting was you were actually able to record. At the time you could record on CDs, but you needed a special recorder, and at the time it was very expensive and you needed to buy the disc, which the discs were special and were very expensive to record on, because the music industry was scared that people were going to start stealing music. So they would copy a CD onto their CD burner and make copies of it and give it to their friend or sell it. So the music industry had approached Sony and said, if you do not do something about it, we're gonna start taking action. And that's why when a lot of the digital formats that Sony came out, which was the DAT, which was a I don't have the format with me right now, but it was like a tape. But it was, instead of having analog music like this, it had digital like CD and like this, the MiniDisk. So what happened was Sony decided at the time, they were getting a lot of flack by the music industry about their DAT players, because the DAT was able to copy a CD and PCM. And it would make a copy of the disc like it was the original. Now a lot of people, musicians and the music industry were appalled by that and didn't want that to continue, and there was a lot of, basically they took Sony not to court. I think they went to court. I'm not sure of the details, but it was kind of a cease and desist for Sony. No more copying one for one of the music. So at that time they decided to come out with this, which they used the compression system I'd mentioned. So what it did was it would take the PCM, which is the signal from a compact disc, and what it would do was compress it, meaning it would analyze the original, take out certain frequencies or aspects or data that the human ear could not hear. So what the compression system would do was analyze and delete the data that human hearing couldn't hear. So it would analyze, they had measurements done on people on their hearing, and there were certain frequencies that humans don't need to hear. Well, the fact is the CD and a lot of formats at the time that were digital had the full spectrum, the full resolution. So they developed this compression system. Was an algorithm that would basically take out data that was not necessary, so that it would construct, when you played it, reconstruct the music like the original, but it was missing data. It was missing certain frequencies. But it didn't matter that much, because the way the human ear works in the brain is that you can extract data from the original and people barely notice the difference. So it was missing some data. It wasn't exactly a copy one for one from the original, but you barely realize there was a difference, similar to MP3. So Sony came out with that, and at the time this format was popular in Europe and Japan, but in North America it didn't catch on because there was a lot of pushback from the music industry, because you can record, and that's what I wanted to come back to. Is basically this is a combination of the cassette, which you could record, make mixtapes, and record anything, your voice, and it had the digitization of music like a compact disc. So what was cool is it was digital media that you could record on. So you could record your voice, you could record music, and it was great. It was a great format. When it first came out, I bought one around the time when this technology had come out. And this is the unit I had. This is the MZR70, and it had a little battery compartment here. So it took one AA, and it would last around 6 to 8 hours of continuous play, sometimes more. So it was not only compact, it was portable, you could record on it. It was just a format that was amazing. For me, I thought it was amazing at the time, because you were actually able to make recordings of music you like, make your own mixes, similar to like what you do with Spotify or anything. You could make a list of music you like. So instead of buying the whole album, you'd go through certain artists and pick certain songs and make a playlist. Well, this is what the playlist was like at that time, because you could record many songs from different artists and put them on one in one place. And then it was portable. You could take it on the go with these type of players here. As you can see, my hand is very small. You could stick it in your pocket, and it didn't skip like the CD, because it had a buffer, which is what it does is it records a bit beforehand, so that if you shake it, it was able to not skip, because it was able, when there's parts where it was not skipping, it was recording ahead of time. So if you were to shake it at a certain point of time, it was already ahead, so it could just extract that data and bring it back and replace the parts that were skipping. So the anti-skip was very, very good with this. You could shake it like crazy. You don't have to shake it probably for a long time for it to actually skip, because it was that good. So this format, they had a later version of this. It was called the High MD, which basically it was a linear PCM digital recording to compete with the compact disc. So at this one is not a disc high MD. This is the disc that uses the compression system. But later on, Sony came out with a smaller unit like this. But what it would do was, instead of compressing, it wouldn't compress, it would just record like it was a CD. That didn't last long. A few years later, because of Napster and all the digital music on iPods and phones, there was less customers for that product, and Sony had just stopped altogether, just stopped selling mini discs. So it was sad to see it go. I mean, I would have liked to see it stick around longer, but like I said, there was no market for it, so it left. So here I have one of my players. This is a much better player than my little unit here, but this is like a home system for your home system. And this is the Sony MDS-JB920. Now this is a very nice unit, and as you can see, you can record. It has a record button. So what you could do is, I'll show you. Let me just turn it on. It's on standby. Turn it on. It says no disc. So what you do is you take your disc and you'd stick it in, and it would go inside. Now it's reading. Sorry about the lighting. Probably can't see that, but okay. So it says the total, and this disc has no name. That was another feature with mini discs, is that you could name your discs. And certain mini disc players, you could plug in a keyboard, and you could put in the titles for each song and or the album. Now, if you had pre-recorded discs, they already had the titles and everything on it. So as you can see, we'll just press play. There you go. It spins up and it's playing. So that's basically, as you can see, the the meter moving, bouncing around. So you had your record levels here. You could adjust the volume, and I'll just stop that. And I'll turn that off. And it had many, let's see, many options. It had coaxial. You could record analog. So you could plug in, I'll turn it around for you guys. I don't have my lazy Susan. Okay, so you could plug in analog in, and it could send out a signal analog to. You had the coaxial, which is a digital. This is the digital part. So you had the coaxial in, you had a coaxial out, you had an optical out, and you had two ins for the optical, which was pretty cool. You had two of them to come in into the unit and record. So you could basically get a CD player, take the optical or coaxial, which is the digital signal, plug it in here, and make a copy of your favorite music on this mini disc. So you weren't just stuck with using analog and then it converting to digital. It could stay in a digital form and be recorded digitally into this system, which was very cool. At the time, I mean, I think technology like this was very, very, very nice. Now this unit is very, very beautiful. I mean, now they go for a lot, but when I bought it, I was lucky. I bought it at a reasonable price. And as you can see, the faceplate is all metal. The case is all metal also. This is, and it's a substantial weight to it too. So I think it was a beautiful format, and it was sad to see it go. And you know, but like all things, they evolve, and digital music evolved to the point where we don't need a physical format to use digital music. We have our iPhones, iPads, Androids. We have all those, even computers we can use to listen to music. So it's much more convenient, and we can, instead of carrying discs around, we we're much better off now, where we can just listen to music on the go and not have to worry about which format we're going to use. So I'm pretty positive to that, or happy that we have the formats we have right now. They're very convenient, but I still like the tactile feel of having physical media. Now let's move along. I brought some of my collection of factory-made mini discs, because like compact disc, they used to have record labels would make official copies of music and put them on disc. So which was pretty rare. Sony had a few artists on their label, as some of you know that Sony had bought a few record labels, and they had a few artists under their label, and they had released pre-recorded mini disc at the time when it first came out, and I didn't have, they were pretty pricey, and at the time I was more interested in just recording my own mixes and putting them on mini disc. But you could have went to the Sony store or a few outlets and bought mini disc, but they weren't everywhere, especially in North America. It was more in Europe and Japan. But later on I ended up buying a few discs, so I have a collection that I'd like to show you. So I'll start off with Radiohead. So, as you can see, it has a booklet like the CD, and this is the actual disc. This is what they looked like. They had an actual cover on the disc, not like its counterpart, the one where you could record. It had no label. You could stick a label on it and label whatever you wanted on it. But this had the actual cover on the disc, and some of them on the back would have the track titles, but this one doesn't. It just says it's an official Radiohead disc. We'll put that back. So next, here is Radiohead again, Kid A. That's what it looks like. Pretty cool. That's the back. All right. Here I have. It's a little beat up, the plastic, but this is a pre-recorded Jimi Hendrix experience. This is at live at Winterland. It's still sealed. Never listened to that, but it's pretty cool. And I have Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, Texas Flood. A little picture of the band, and it was interesting because the cover on the mini disc is kind of sideways. Well, it's not kind of, it is. And here's the back. Next, we have David Bowie. This is the Changes by Bowie. Here you go. There's the cover on the disc with the tracks next to it. On the back, more tracks. And what else? Here we go. We have Michael Jackson, Thriller. There you go. Pretty cool. Then I have Michael Jackson, Off the Wall. There you go. There you go. So So as you know, Michael Jackson was on the Sony label. And here's Bad for Michael Jackson. Here's the back. What else? And then I have Michael Jackson Dangerous. Pretty cool. There's the back. Okay. And I have here a rap album, Fugees. The score. And here, I'll even take out the booklet so you could see how they kind of looked. They're similar to the cassette where they unfolded. So as you could see, it would have lyrics, and it had a lot of information and pictures and you know, a little description about the band. So yeah. Here's another rap album. This is Cypress Hill, Temples of Boom. Pretty cool. There's the back. What else? I've got Alanis, Jagged Little Pill. So booked. Here. Okay. What else do I got? I got a little electronic music. This is Chemical Brothers. This one is Dig Your Own Hole. And like I said, a lot of these you could have got on CD at the time. This was some of the collection that Sony was selling. Pre-recorded discs. This is Aerosmith's Toys in the Attic. You see, this one's made in Australia. Okay. What's next? What's next? This is Daft Punk. Homework. And as you could see, what else? This is the back. As you can see, I have quite a few of them. Quite a few. Okay, and then I have Portishead. No, sorry, Bjork. Excuse me. This is Post. And what else? This is Bjork again. Homogenic. And what else? Oh, one more Radiohead. This is OK Computer. And we've got Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd. And as you can see, these cases are similar to the CD. They have kind of like an indent here, and you have a place to put your thumb here, and you just open it like that. As you can see, there's big slots to put your put your fingers in here and you just pulled it out. Simple as that. Pretty cool case. And what else do I have? Here's my last one I have, and this is Pink Floyd The Wall. Came in a little box here, and it had 2 discs. Go turn these around so you could see the art in the back, track listing. You probably want to see the inside. This is one of them. This is disc 1. This is disc 2. So they have different art on the front. So that's my pre-recorded discs. So like these pre-recorded discs I bought online, they were pretty pricey, but now as you can see they've gone up in price and they're actually rare. Out of these ones, I would say this Daft Punk Homework, and who else? And I would say, if I could find it, where is it? And David Bowie, both sound amazing. I mean, if I were to compare the two, CD and the mini disc, I couldn't choose one because these sound amazing. Like when you play them on a hi-fi system, it's just, the detail is incredible. Considering how compressed I mean, it wasn't super compressed. It was the format compression that they used, Sony, was a step up from MP3. It really was. It wasn't. Where the difference in sound was, MP3, if it was at a lower quality, the highs, instead of having like a cymbal, they'd have like a distortion on the high end. It would be missing certain mid-range, or the bass would be fine with MP3 if it was lower quality, but I found that the higher ranges and mid-range was missing the impact and the clarity. But when you compare it to the compression system Sony was using at the time, it was way better. It was not much missing. When you played it, you could barely tell it was a mini disc. It was that good, especially if you have a good unit like this one. It's great. Even my little unit here, okay, was a great unit. And the amazing thing about this small unit was you could record with this tiny unit. You could record. So you had a plug here, the white one. Let me just show you clearly. But this one, this had a line in, and it had and also it had a mic. But what was cool about this is you could get an optical. It was a special plug. I don't have it with me, but it was a plug where you could stick it in the same port as your earphones. I mean the line in, and instead of recording an analog, you could record optically. So you could copy the digital signal from a CD player and record it on here digitally with this little unit, with that little port here. And the cool thing is, at the time when I was young, you'd listen to music, you had an earphone plug here, but you had a second one. So if you had a buddy or a friend, you could plug in his earphones or have a second pair of earphones, and you could both listen to this simultaneously, which was incredible at the time. And this is before we had devices that could connect two earphones or two through Bluetooth, two things. So this unit was pretty pricey. I mean, this, when it came out in Canada, was around $600 or plus, $600 something dollars, and this unit was around $500 in the US. This one here, so it'll probably be around $800 or something in Canada. So all in all, that is my experience with MiniDisk. It was pleasant, it was cool, at the time, and it was an amazing format, very flexible, durable. You could record on it. It was portable. You could take it anywhere. It was too bad that it didn't take off in the U.S. and Canada as much, but it took off more in Europe. But you know what? It's okay, but I wish we had more units and more pre-recorded stuff from Sony, and especially when the high MD came out, I really wish that it had continued and we had more pre-recorded at high quality, had high quality mini discs and pre-recorded discs. But that never happened, and that was the problem with the music industry. It was fighting all these formats that were able to copy one for one their music, and it was really bad in the US. The music industry here was really fought back, and they fought back against Napster, MP3 and everything. And now if you look at it, after Apple had sorted out things with the music industry, now we have iTunes, we have Spotify and everything. So it's all turned to digital, and now we're able to buy the tracks, and the music industry is satisfied. But it's too bad they couldn't have made some type of arrangement with these formats and continue to make these formats till this day. But things change over time, and certain formats last, and certain formats just get tossed to the side, and this is one of them. Anyways, I'd like to thank you for stopping by and watching my video. I'd really like if you'd like my video and subscribe. If not, maybe next time. So anyways, have a good day, and see you on the next video. Bye.